The warm-up holes are done. It's time for the real test here. Let's get to hole number 4 of the Ryder Cup here on Pars and Pours Neck. Welcome back to the Pars and Pours channel, where it's a golf-centric whiskey channel, because both bourbon and golf are very social activities and they need to both be shared. My name is Jim McCleary and we are here to taste and get through the Ryder Cup. What is the Ryder Cup? These are a series of ryes I've accumulated over the last year, and we're going to see which one gets to number 1 through an 18-hole contest where we pair them up. And we're going to give them a nose, we're going to give them a taste, and then we're going to give them a uniqueness type score. And when it's all said and done, we're going to finish on the 19th hole with a clear winner. So as you saw in the last 3 holes, that they had some pretty good ryes to be dealt with, right? And so we know what we've got going on there. So now we're at the top of our hole list. So this is the very first one, and very fresh cracked. Castle and Key Restoration. Castle and Key, if anybody's been there, is a holdover from the Colonel Taylor, and has been resurrected in order to do what they do now. They have the distillery is in the shape of a castle, and there's a nice relaxing area that is in the shape of a keyhole. And both of those were built by Colonel Taylor in trying to mimic some of the iconic stuff that he saw when he was traveling. Now this is bottle 29807, batch 1, aged 3 years. It is 106.5 proof, and it is a rye whiskey. 2003 it says. Where this one, everybody can understand, this is the WIllett family rye. This is a straight rye. It's called the rare release. It is 112 proof, and it's a 4-year, and it is at cask strength, they say. And I got this one while we are at the WIllett Distillery. The WIllett Distillery is a nice family-owned for many, many generations. The tour there is outstanding, and you can see you're just across the street from the Heaven Hill distilleries. That kind of gives another bit of a nuance in order to get through there. Very well known for the ryes, very well known for the purple tops, and very well known for their price tags. Castle and Key is starting to grow. They're starting to get more notoriety as time prevails, and the place where you're at makes for a great visit. It's a great tour, even for those people that are not whiskey or rye enthusiasts. So we've let it go for a little bit. All right, so this is a fresh crack, and normally the fresh cracks are at a disadvantage here. So this is basically along the lines of not warming up enough. Speaking of not warming up enough, we're going to add a little bit of a nuance here. This is hole number 4. So the Ryder Cup's being played at Bethpage Black, all right? Bethpage Black in New York. And hole number 4 is a 493 par 5. It is the number 13 handicapped hole on the golf course. It's a small left-hand turn, and there's sand traps everywhere. And so the idea of Bethpage Black is to be a very, very precise ball striker. So you land your play. You got to find your spots. You got to land in your spots in order to score well. So let's give this thing a go. Definitely nothing off-putting about the nose. We're going to give it 4 or 5 tries because it always takes a little bit, right? So at first you got kind of a fruity flavor, and as I give it more time to breathe, I'm getting more of the rye spice that you would expect in a rye whiskey. So very gentle, almost oats-like kind of concept. You know, the rye is not in the front. It is actually taking a back seat. And it's what I call a gentle nose for a rye. Now, as you can see, I've been into the WIllett a little bit. This is the guy that's been on the driving range pounding balls. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this one has a the kind of a rye funk. It's almost a wet smell. Yes, I know it's wet, but like an item that was wet. And again, I'm not getting a lot of the rye in that. As much as I hate to say it, almost like a wet cardboard. Or even a like a cereal that's been left out a little bit too long. All right, let's get started with the nose. See, now more that I get, that's been setting again already. Almost got a raisin-like flavor. Let's see. Yeah, so that's the first one. We're just going to coat the palate with that. Here we go. So what you get is a bit of a youthful note in it, being a 3-year rye. It does have a bit of an oily, viscous type of feel in the middle of the palate, getting into the back. And there's that hint of that raisin. You get a bit of a raisiny note. It's got a lingering finish, and it's staying with me and letting me know that it's there. Yeah, I would say that without rye, you would think this is a traditional early bourbon for sure. All right, with the other one. Again, this one is mellowed out a lot more since it just set just a little bit of time. After tasting this one, this is very minerally. The Flintstones vitamins that everybody talks about, the kids' vitamins, that's what I get on this one. And it just overpowers the entirety of the sip. Yeah, like those multivitamins that you can take that you can chew on as a kid. It's a very we'll call weak finish, and again the viscosity is there, but that's the only thing I can give it as a plus. So, from a uniqueness, do we say it's unique because of the bottle? The bottle is definitely a different shape, and it has a cork on it that could be used as an ice brand. And being that I've visited both of these places, the unique point will certainly land there. Now, I will say that the WIllett the WIllett tour is very, very nice, and the family orientation on it is certainly something to see. And the purple tops themselves are very desirable. I have yet to get one, and it's very good. However, in this particular order, and we're going to say it is the Family Estate Small Batch Rye, and it's called the Rare Release, and it is bottled for 4 years at 112 proof. All right, so the location of this place makes it nice, but I'm going to give the unique point to Castle and Key. So what do we have? We had a nice nose that almost turned sour, right? That turned sour. Where this one now is much like we tasted a little bit ago, and you get a much more calm palate, but you start to get that Flintstones chewable in there. The raisin smell, or the raisin notes and the Flintstone notes, neither one of these are desirable in my case. But when it comes right down to it, if you're talking about different layers and different complexities, what it goes to, Castle and Key is definitely going to get that one. So we're going to go with a half a point each on the nose, because neither one of them were very desirable. In the very beginning, I would have still given the nod to Castle and Key, where this one had that. And then as they got air on them, they both started to go in a direction that I don't personally prefer. However, when you're talking about giving the nose, the palate, and the uniqueness, we're going to give this one as just barely making it past the sand traps and giving the nod to Castle and Key. Now, I know that they've upgraded some of their game when it comes to making their newer product. This is the very first batch, so maybe a little bit of air and it'll turn that around and make it be a little bit better. So tell me what you think. Would you have picked either one of these? And check it out, and don't be afraid to look up Bethpage Black to see what this really tough golf course is all about. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe, and get ready for hole number 5 of the Ryder Cup as we take a look at where Bethpage Black is at, the different histories, and our different ryes. And as always, save your pars and share your pours.